So the future is down, which would indicate that tomorrow, at the moment, tomorrow would open up negative. Although if you look at the VIX has actually gone negative right now for the futures, which pretty much indicate that they're fighting for tomorrow. For a decent open, I still think at this point, most likely we're gonna have a pretty big gap down tomorrow open, maybe initial strength and continue sell off before a afternoon reversal, which means a an afternoon recovery and for next week. Now that's what I'm playing. Um, so here you can look, I mean, at Tesla. Surprisingly, when I was watching this initially, I mean, this run up was incredible. I just couldn't fathom at this point. It was breaking out, that's fine. So a little bit of consolidation, then another breakout. Okay, now we're getting extended. And at this point, there should be a red candle and a correction. Had it corrected here a little bit for a few days, maybe even a week, and then gathered strength, it would have made Tesla a lot stronger. Maybe correct to the 20-day moving average, but because it just paused at the 5-day moving average and then just gathered more strength, and then a big green candle, and then another green candle before it correct. Actually, the pre-market is up to 537. So I kind of drilled that in on the pre-market right here, right? It's 537. So this is if you include the pre-market, which is this is September 1st, the new month, the beginning of new month, all this gang is from August. So everybody who had performance in Tesla on August, well, they can report whatever this is, 50% performance on Tesla. I mean, this is tremendous. And then they run it up on the first day of September, and it looked, very similar to this guy. So that's a capitulation top with a wick, and this is a capitulation top with a wick. So that pretty much indicates a reversal candle. Now at the time, when this formed, I mean, Tesla was supercharged strong, right? Even though this is a capitulation top candle, there wasn't really much of a correction here, right? That's not much of a correction. And there was no indication that there's gonna be a big correction. I mean, the way there's so much strength, you don't know if I call it manipulation, but I don't know that for a fact. It just looks like manipulation when I'm watching it. It just looks like people are just pushing this stock over and over and over again. It's just pushing, pushing. I mean, it was just unbelievable the way they just push it, right? I mean, look at this, the way they just push it. Look at this. I mean, no traders are doing this. Um, no day traders are doing this. I don't know what's going on. This is just tremendous push, and then pre-market all the way to 537. I mean, it just feels like manipulation, but I don't know that for a fact. I mean, it just to me it just feels like manipulation. So at the time I'm thinking, yeah, there's probably going to be a correction, but how big is the correction? No one knows. Well, the first day or the next candle, obviously it's going to be a correction, but then there's a reversal candle, meaning there's a long tail, which is a positive sign, which is this guy right here. Where is it? Right, which is essentially a sell-off and then a recovery. All this sold off and recovery. All of this. This is positive because you got a flush and then you got buyers stepping in and bringing it back to 548, 450 level. Now, it surprised me that in the pre-market it sold all the way down here. So that's manipulation. It looks like manipulation. How can the pre-market sell all the way back to the low? I mean, it doesn't even give you a chance to get out or whatever, right? Everybody who bought this didn't even get a chance to get out because it's just manipulated right down. So all of those who was buying this dip was head fake. They all got trapped. They all got tricked. I mean, this is a lot of volume. This is a lot of traders and retail investors trying to buy on the dip, and they got caught in the pre-market on shit volume. I mean, I just don't believe it. Well, now I believe it. I'm seeing it. So, and then they kind of hold it, but then it continues to sell off. And look at the aftermarket. I mean, geez, they don't even give you a chance. I mean, how does it go from peak to peak? This is what I call peak to peak, one level to another level, right? I mean, top peak in an oscillation cycle, right? This is peak to peak. Well, this is peak to peak, and now you got peak to peak, right? If this was to be an oscillation cycle, peak to peak. Um, I don't know if it is or not, but what I'm trying to say is I don't know if that's what it's gonna do or not, but what I'm trying to say is this type of move is not realistic. This appears to be manufactured. You don't get this type of move ever, and if you look at even if you look at Apple, I mean you get a similar type of movement on Apple. It's just a run up that's just like from peak. Here's one low all the way to another one. That's peak to peak. I mean, it's just amazing to watch this type. So now, if it can get manipulated, if the theory is that it can get manipulated, pushed, manufactured, engineered from one level to another, why can't it get manufactured from one level to another? Why can't it go all the way back down? Obviously, it can. There's nothing that indicates that it cannot, based on what I'm seeing right now, right? Right now, it can go all the way back down to this level. I mean, if it can go up, it can go down. At the time, you don't know that for sure because you don't know if this is real or fake. Well, now, the way it looks, I mean, the way this looks with the, um, let me use another pen, fuchsia. With the way one candle, two candle, three candle, right? It looks like, yeah, this is huge drop. And if there's another candle down here, that means it obviously can get down to this level. No doubt about it. Actually, right now, it pretty much confirmed that it can get down to this level. To me, just these three candles alone and the way it behaves aftermarket, the way it behaves pre-market from 537 and the way it sell off right now in the aftermarket, it looks like to me it looks like they can bring it all the way down, easily all the way down to here. So it goes from peak to peak. This is what I'm talking about. This is the way traders, manipulators, this is how they do it. They do the push and they do the flush. Okay. Now I don't know if it's gonna go down all the way to here or not. Most likely not. I mean, it's hard to fathom that it can go all the way down to back to this level. It's possible, but it's also not. I mean, I guess I believe it if I see it. I just don't. I just don't see. I mean, it's definitely possible, but wow, oh wow. If it does happen, I mean, we are in new territory of complete. We are under the control of whoever can do this. I mean, yeah, that's just. But the first one, but I want to point out technically, this is an important technical Fibonacci. If you line up Fibonacci, and I still want to put technical analysis even though manipulation is factor 1, 2, 3, 4, probably the first four factors, you still want to overlay technical analysis just to have an idea on where the manipulation can take you. So if you lay Fibonacci here and here, look at how it lines up technically. At 0 at the top at 500, right? Where do you get the 38.2 retracement? Right here. Pretty good level, and guess where it lines up? At the bottom. So yeah, the manipulator pushed it down to a technical level, Fibonacci. Then today, or at least after market, where's it at? It's at the 50% retracement. How it lines up. Wow, that's just not a coincidence. I mean, these are numbers that they drives it to. They know the numbers and they are driving it exactly to that number, I mean, very close, so almost to exact as it looked like. So what's the target for tomorrow on the sell-off, if there is a sell-off? I mean, they can definitely engineer the sell-off, and it's probably going to be the 61.8, which would give you this peak and this peak. So that right there would indicate a low target tomorrow of 360, 361, something like that. So low target tomorrow of 361, maybe probably penetrate. So if it goes down anywhere to this, close to this, it's gonna overshoot because that's just the way they like how to do things. They like to overshoot, just to scare out anybody who wants to put a level at 361 and have tight stops. So if it goes down, it's going to overshoot a little bit, 355, whatever it may be, and then you get the afternoon bounce. It's very, I mean, I'm definitely sure. Well, I'm not 100%, but I am almost statistically sure that a sell off to 61.8 in the afternoon will get you a recovery to 400, or maybe not to 400, but at the top before. If it's this is the max, so the max will be 400, but it can be anywhere. It can be anywhere in this range as far as recovery, right? So that is what I'm seeing for Tesla. Let me see. So here is the Fibonacci that I drill on Amazon right now, the aftermarket. Look at the aftermarket. I mean, all this strength, all this rally strength got sold off, and now it's at the low. So you just put the Fibonacci at this level, 290. Uh, yeah, 2,900 to the top of this one, which is 3550. So if you overlay that, what do you see? Let me use a different pen. I'm going to use this pen right here. So 38.2 retracement is exactly at the low, right? Right below the 20-day moving average. So this is all 38.2% retracement. This is where it's at. So the target will be 50% retracement. So it'll be where this level would be. So that level would be around probably about 32.25. So 32, wait, is that right? 32 seems a lot. Yeah, it's not gonna get to yeah, 32.25. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna get down to 32.25. I mean, 32.25 is way too low. 32.25. Yeah, there's no way Amazon's gonna get down to 32.25 for the low. Probably anywhere here would probably be realistic. So maybe 32.60-ish, 32.65. 32. 65. I mean, that's still quite a bit for the low. So if it's gonna gap down, right? Let me use another pen. Let me just use a green pen. If it gaps down tomorrow, runs down to 32.65, then mid-morning, afternoon, it starts its rally back up. Um, that's what I'm anticipating, right? An initial flush, and it'll look something like so in the afternoon, it probably will look something similar to this Tesla chart that happened a couple of days ago. Um, Probably be something similar where it would gap down. Let me use a red pen. Right, you have some kind of gap down, some recovery, some more, maybe not the second gap down, but something like that, and then an eventual kind of a flush. So this all the charts would kind of look like this: Amazon, Tesla, and it'll go to one of the low point that I mentioned for Tesla and for Amazon, and then you get the rally, something like that, or something like that. So that's what I'm expecting. Let's just see what happens for. So here is Apple. Um, Lay in the Fibonacci at the low, right? At this point, and move it all the way to the top. And look how it goes from peak to peak. I mean, this is amazing, peak to peak. Just like an oscillation, peak to peak. One extreme to another extreme. I mean, it's just amazing. But yeah, so as far as retracement, right now it's sitting pretty much at the 38.2, which lines up exactly to very close to the 20-day moving average. So 38.2 to the 38.2% retracement line up to. So you can't tell me this isn't all engineered. Are you telling me that they don't know in advance that this Fibonacci lines up? If you draw from here, if you draw Fibonacci from here, right? If you do a fib retracement from here, that they don't have this target, that they don't know this target lines up with this guy to have 38%, 38.2 right here, that lines up. I mean, this is just, it's not a coincidence. This type of movement, and look at this, right at the 5-day moving average, this type of movement indicates that they know in advance, they have price targets, they know where to move it. Someone knows where to move it. I mean, they know exactly to move it to this level so that it lines up with Fibonacci. This is not a mistake. This is not a coincidence. This is complete, control, manipulation by whoever knows what they're doing to front run the market. So they're going to front run the market all the way to this support line so that in the morning it's either crash. Um, so it either, let's just use a different pen. Let's use a blue pen. Either in the morning when it gaps down, it's right at this level. It either recover or continue to crash. They don't care because they already front run it and they can get out, or depending on whichever way they already, if they already shorted, they can cover at the next level. It probably won't be 50, but anywhere down here, they can cover for the run up for in the afternoon. Right? I mean, yeah, it's just this is all engineered to me. So that is what I'm seeing. I am seeing if things play the way it looks right now, a big gap down. If it's not a initial just complete sell off, where I was showing you on the picture, it can either bounce a little bit, sell off, do a gradual sell off, then eventual flush, and then a afternoon recovery. So that is my anticipation, and that's how I am playing it for tomorrow for Manipulation Friday.